Hi, Rod Kane here from the Washington Grand Company. Another video about my favorite ancient medieval game, Triumph. Um, so what I'm doing now is a little bit different because I want to give a preview of what's coming up at the big HMGS East convention, Historicon, which is currently in the fall, November 10th through the 14th, I believe. And at the upcoming Historicon event, I wanted to give people an idea of what to expect from the Triumph games we have planned. So what do we have planned? For those of you that have not been to one of our events before, or one of our conventions where we're running our full-scale events, we're going to be doing demos in the mornings. So every morning there will be a 15mm demo game set up. We usually have a series of 4 set up. This year I think we're also going to have some fantasy games set up. So you're going to see, for example, some of the Monster Apocalypse figures, playing Triumph with those. And we'll be using these as well. And we'll also probably have some straight up fantasy Warhammer / Lord of the Rings style games set up. And those will be demo games, and they'll also be available for open play for people who want to come and play during the day and just, try out Triumph rules. As well as we're going to have at least one large fantasy battle, the Battle of 5 Armies from Lord of the Rings. That's going to be put on twice during the weekend. And that'll be a 6-player Grand Triumph sized game using classic Tolkien fantasy figures and using the new Fantasy Triumph rules that we're playtesting. We're also going to have a couple big historical battles in 28mm. We're going to have Persians versus Greeks. This will be the Battle of Marathon. This will be run twice as well. 6 players, Grand Triumph scale, Pavis versus Hoplites in a head-on battle historical matchup. We're going to be running the Battle of Hydaspes, which will feature Alexander the Great versus Porus. So you'll have an elite group of pike and knights and Greek cavalry versus a lot of elephants, some chariots, and a bunch of peasant Indian infantry. So bow, levy, and horde should be. Well, we've run this many times at NashCon recently. It's quite an exciting battle and quite a spectacle. We're also going to have a couple of open tournaments. So what is an open tournament? An open tournament, if you haven't been in one before, is we usually run them in 15mm. And it means that you can bring any legal army from the Meshwesh database and use it in the tournament. So any 48-point historical army from Meshwesh. Including battle cards. So, for example, the army I have here is Mongolian, and I took the 3-point no camp battle card, which is an option for the Mongols, so they don't have a camp that they have to worry about. Once again, that's in the battle card supplement, which you can download from the WGC site. So, for those of you that haven't played in a tournament, if you have your own 48-point Triumph army in 15mm, please bring it and play it, whatever your favorite army is. On Wednesday night, there'll be a Chariot Supremacy themed tournament, which will be specific to the Chariot period. So you need to bring an army from that period or borrow one of the loaners. On the open tournament, you can bring any legal Meshwesh army. We will have some loaners, like this Mongol army, for example. First come, first serve basis if you don't have an army. And for those of you that have never played a tournament, here's what you should expect. Everybody has their 48-point army. It's usually nice to have a tray or something to carry your army in. You'll want to have a die. You'll typically want to have some kind of information like off of Meshwesh what your army is and its invasion maneuver factor, available terrain type. It's good to have your own measuring sticks. All of this will be provided for new players, but if you're an existing Triumph player, this is kind of what to expect. And then the other thing that you'll want, if you're bringing your own army, it's also really good. We'll provide all the battle mats for everybody to play on, but it's also good to have some terrain pieces. So, for example, if your army has a particular types of terrain that you like to use, it's good to make sure you have some terrain pieces that are made for your army. So if you win the terrain and you get a chance to set it and you know what pieces you want, you know you have some of the pieces that you would like to use. Make sure they're the legal size for the 15mm play. It's also handy occasionally to have some bases like this with little handles on them that you can also use for measurement tools on the board to help you maneuver your armies. You've probably seen me use these in some of the videos in the past. But the way the tournament works, you should consider it an opportunity to both play competitively head-to-head against other experienced Triumph players. But if you're new to the game, you should consider it a really great opportunity to learn from some experienced Triumph players and practice the game and learn tactics and strategies and get better at playing the game. So we encourage new people to play. We love having new people in the tournament, and we're more than happy to teach you how to play Triumph while you're playing in the tournament. It's always better to have more experience before you come to one, but you can come to the tournament and be taught as we play in the tournament. It'll typically be 3 rounds. Usually takes about 4 hours with in between time and rounds. So you get to play 3 48-point Triumph games to completion. And then of course we do keep score for bragging rights at the end of the tournament. So it's pretty fun head-to-head play. It's all a good time. So I hope that you'll come out to Historicon and join us for one of the Grand Triumph battles, some of the fantasy and sci-fi fun that we're going to have, and if possible, bring your own army or borrow one of ours and play in one of the tournaments. So Wednesday night, Chariot Supremacy. Bring a Chariot Supremacy army if you have one. During the day on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we'll be having the Grand Triumph 28mm historical battles. In the morning, the demo games, which will be set up for play. All day long, every day, we will have open play Triumph tables available for people to play. And Friday evening and Saturday evening around 7 p.m., we will be doing the 48-point 15mm tournaments. So I hope you can join us in November at Historicon. Look forward to seeing you there. My name's Rod Kane. Once again, the game is Triumph. Thank you.